Hello, 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 and welcome to 20 Years with a Narcissist. I'm your host, Shakira, and I would like to start with words of affirmations. You are whole, you are complete, you are enough. You are strong, you are brave, you are resilient. You are guided, you are protected, and you are safe. And this here is a safe space. So I would like to continue with the narcissist playbook manipulation. We were on phase one, the previous episode. So just to recap that real quick, phase one of knowing, understanding manipulation in its entirety. Phase one is when you notice it in hindsight. And I got these phases from Dana Morningstar, her book titled The Narcissist Playbook. And the noticing manipulation in hindsight is after you're done with the relationship. So for me, when I divorced my narc in 2020, I Googled or YouTubed, I forgot what I put in the search bar, but it was just like something's wrong with him. What the heck is up? To throw away a 20-year marriage and we were married for 12 out of the 20. And to, live the way that we did, I just needed a better understanding of what it is I went through. So knowing that I felt like that leaving my marriage, I know there's tons of people out here who are floating in that same boat. So I'm making it my personal business to put y'all up on game. I'm going to let y'all know exactly what's going on. You are not crazy. And like Dr. Ramani says in her book, it is not you. So notice it in hindsight. It's like, oh snap, this fool was playing me like a sucker all along, and I was just going along with it, not realizing. And phase two is seeing it while it's happening. I did touch base on that the previous episode as well. Phase two, you want to have that awareness while it's occurring. The more awareness that you have, the less confusion there is, the less confused you are, because that's when you're being manipulated. You literally feel like you're losing your mind. Like they literally distort your reality and make you feel like you're crazy. There are some targets or victims of narcissism who have literally checked themselves into psychiatric facilities because they literally thought that they were going batshit crazy. It's just what it is. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for y'all. I really don't. So here we are. So one step in noticing manipulation while it's happening, because you want to be equipped so that you can respond effectively. Sometimes you don't want to leave the relationship, but just knowing what manipulation looks like when you're being manipulated, you can be like, I see what you're doing, and I'm not going to let it happen. That way you can at least stay within your own reality and not allow yourself to jump off the deep end thinking you're going crazy when you're not. So a part of having that awareness is self-validation. You have to know what you seeing is what you seeing, what you're feeling is what you're feeling, and you don't need somebody else to tell you. How many of us call up our best friend, our mom, our sister, or whoever that confidant is that we call and emotionally dump on and say, girl, let me tell you how he tried to tell me that he wasn't at, and he was at his homie crib till 2 o'clock in the morning. Doing what? You know what I'm saying? I'm not stupid. But they swing it in a way where, you're either left with having no other choice but to believe them, or knowing that it's some bull crap, but you have no proof. You have no proof, so what you going to do about it? Are you going to leave the relationship off of a possible, off of a maybe? Many have, and I applaud y'all. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you are in love with this person and they thought they was going to play with you and you ain't let them, you the bomb.com. That's all I got to say. You already strong. You a warrior. Because a lot of us are not set up like you. You know what I'm saying? We fall for the okie doke. We let them tell us what they want to tell us and we listen. Or we know that it's a bunch of bullcrap, but we sit and put up with it. And it's like, why? Why are you doing that? So when you seek validations from those other people that you called up to tell them about your man, your girl, your significant other, unless they're a psychiatrist, unless they're well versed on narcissism or the human mind, they're 9 times out of 10 they gonna give you bad advice. Or they're going to make you feel like you tripping. Oh, girl, it ain't that bad. Like, he just was trying to, or maybe he was at his homie crib. How you know he wasn't? I mean, did he come home smelling like a girl? Now you checking his drawers. Now you checking his clothes, you sniffing them. That further leads you down the road of losing your mind. Because if you do find a scent that you've never smelled before, or some cum stains in the drawers like I have, because yes, I've gone down that road 20 years. Come on. It's no way that I didn't. It's no way that I didn't. So I absolutely have checked the drawers to see, like, nah, nigga, nah. And, dealing with somebody that long, yeah, he probably slipped up in the earlier years. But at some point, he's going to make sure he washed that thing off before he put them drawers back on. So that if and or when you do decide to check the drawers, ain't nothing in there. I definitely just got finished tearing Shorty down, though. But you'll never know that. I'm definitely never going to tell you that. And you have no proof that occurred. So now you just got to live with your thoughts of, I know he did. But you can't. You can't prove it. And not proving it makes you feel like you're losing your mind. Because he's like, no, I didn't. No, I was at Elroy's house. I was at my homie, Sean crib. No, that's where I was at. And you can't tell me that I wasn't. So for me, it got to the point where come in this house at this hour again, and all your shit gonna be waiting outside for you. Oh yeah, it's gonna be sitting outside waiting for you. Because you got me fucked up if you think that you're gonna be coming in and out of this house at whatever hour from your homie's crib. You're a married man. It's unacceptable. I'm not staying out to them hours. Can I go outside and be out there till 2 o'clock in the morning and come up in here and you be okay with it? No, it ain't never gonna happen. So you don't get to do that either. Do it again and watch what happens. So I literally had to threaten his whole existence in order for him to stop playing with me. And he did. But I guess he just found other ways and other times to go and do it because it never stopped. But you don't want to call up other people to validate your reality so that it can be distorted. Because once they distort your reality, you end up giving the manipulator the benefit of the doubt. Now here you are, in a loop of, I know you did it. No, I didn't. You can't prove it. You better stop playing with me. I know you did it. No, I didn't. You know what I mean? And doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results equals what? Insanity. And we're not going to drive ourselves crazy. That's just not what we're going to do. So, of course, I do want to just talk about phase 2. I am going to break this manipulation down I'm going to take chunks and bite-sized pieces out of this thing because I really want y'all to really have a full understanding of what manipulation looks like. But, the role and the part that you play in the manipulation, because you don't want to allow yourself to be manipulated. So let's just start with self-validation. You know what you saw, you know what you heard, you know what you felt, and can't nobody distort that reality. Steve Wilkos created a show so that you could bring your mate on to get a lie detector test to confirm your reality. If you want to stay with him, you want the marriage to work, the relationship to work, and you don't want to leave, call Steve and head on over there and get the lie detector test to see if the fool lying to you or not. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you stay in a relationship where you're constantly being manipulated, you lose your mind, and then once you look unsavory to them because they feel like, oh, this girl is crazy, you showing up wherever they at, you going through his phones, you smelling the drawers, you doing all these things that makes you look like a crazy person when you know what you know. Don't let nobody distort that. Don't call nobody up to confirm your own reality. Now, yes, there are some people on Steve Wilkos that are crazy. They're delusional, I'll say. They live in their own delusion, and usually they're the manipulator or, the person that's doing the wrongdoing. So they end up trying to flip it onto their significant other, onto their spouse. You got the ones that be like, I put cameras up and she was having sex with so-and-so. And you're like, what are you listening? Like, Steve will play the tape back. He'll bring the tape on the show and he'll play it back and be like, yeah, I don't hear anything that resembles sex at all. Like, what are you hearing? What do you? So let's give them the lie detector test and see, if you're indeed, hearing what you think you're hearing. Because that's the other side of the spectrum. It's levels to everything. There are the ones who you are not delusional. You heard, see, feel what you feel. Our gut talks to us. That is a communication. The body is telling you you're being played with. You know what I'm saying? And we should never ignore that feeling. But then there's the delusional ones who it's distorted. Somehow the signals get crossed up there, or like I said, it's a guilt trip. You feel so guilty that you now want to put it on them, and they not even doing nothing. So they, Steve, here's their side of the story. No, I know she cheating. I know she did this. I found stuff in her phone, and this was like this, and that was like that. And the girl, she's breaking down like, I've never cheated on you. I've never done anything. And they take the lie detector test and pass with flying colors. And they still don't believe the test. They still like, nah, I don't know about that. Because now you're making them feel like they're crazy. You're making them feel like their reality is not what they thought it was all along. And they don't like that. So it's like, no, that's a bunch of bologna and cheese. Every now and again, you get the ones that be like, oh my gosh, babe, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I really thought, wow, I'm so sorry. And they apologize and they make up. And I don't know what happens once they leave the show. If they stay together, if things are happy, go lucky from there. I don't know. But stay within your own reality. Don't call everybody. I was the queen of that. Calling up everybody and asking them, am I tripping? Am I tripping? I ain't tripping, am I? They don't know. They not in your shoes. They not living your life. They not going through what you're going through. So how can they tell you whether or not you're tripping or not? They can't. So don't call them and ask them. But I am going to create a community where you can come and tell me. Somebody who is researched, got information from psychologists, licensed therapists, or people like me who have experienced dealing with a manipulator for decades. I'm well versed just by my experience alone. But then to obtain the knowledge of what they're called, how they're made, what the early signs are, how they hoover you back in, what gaslighting is, how to gray rock their asses and ignore them and shut down and don't give them no energy. You don't give them no supply. That's what you do when you getting manipulated and they want to play with you. You turn into a gray rock. A gray rock is boring. It sits still. It doesn't move. It doesn't entertain them. It doesn't get them riled up. It doesn't feed their narcissistic supply in any way, shape, or form. And they get tired of that. Like, oh man, I'm not getting no reaction out of her no more. Oh, he not acting a fool when I say or do this no more. And then they start to look for that validation and that supply somewhere else. If you don't care about that, if you want them to eventually discard you and say, okay, yeah, you're not giving me my supply anymore, so I'm gonna head out, or I'm gonna head on over here where they going, feed my ego and give me that narcissistic supply that I need. Because you're not falling for the manipulation. You're not falling for the bullshit no more. You're not going for it. It's not flying over here no more. You know what I'm saying? So go try that on another sucker, because I'm not gonna be your sucker no more. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. I don't want y'all to be no suckers no more. Okay? I was not in the know for a long time. So to have the knowledge and to be in the know is so refreshing. It's a freedom there that it's a breath of fresh air, and I want that for everybody. So I would also like to jump back in my 20-year narcissist story. I think I left off in episode 6, Hoover, when I moved down to Florida to get away from my narc. And I realized running from him is not the answer either. That's not the way to go. You literally have to face your narc. You have to, stand 10 toes on what is, fact, what you want, how you want your life to be, and whether or not that person is, feeding, pouring into you, or if they're sucking you dry and taking away from you. If they're not pouring into you and filling you up with good things, then they filling you up with toxic things that's going to tear you down in the long run. And that's not the type of person you want to be with. So I tried to run from mine and I went to Florida, and I think I left off in episode 6 at the end. If you watch, go back and watch it. He was on his way to Florida to come get me. And like I said in that episode, some part of me wanted him to do that. You know, when I left every time I departed from him, I was done. In my mind, my heart, my soul, I was done with that man. Like, we will never be together again. I don't care what's going on. You don't deserve me. See you later. Goodbye. Right? So moving to a whole nother state, I mean, that was the loudest way I could tell him, we're done. It's over. We're done. Right? So he was messing with somebody else. The person ended up having a baby with him back in 2010. No, this is 2012. She ended up, friend requesting me on Facebook. I go and see the child. She tells me that, yup, that's his child. Little girl looks just like him. They end up, cashing fake checks and getting a truck. He uses the truck to drive down to Florida to come be with me, because now he done burnt his bridge down with her. And no, she's 6 months pregnant. She's currently pregnant with his second child that she's about to have by him, right? So I'm telling him, don't come down here. I don't want you to come down here. Stay in Philly. Do not come near me. I don't want nothing to do with you, right? Of course, he was already en route. It's a 16-hour drive. He was already like halfway here. So it was like, there's no turning around. And if this is 2012, I've been with him since 2000. So I've been working on you for 12 years. And I know when I get down here, I can convince you to let me stay. And everything's going to be great. It's going to be all good. He was very confident in that because he kept coming. So he got down there. And he did exactly that. He did exactly that. When I tell y'all this man was Superman, like Superman, he cooked, he cleaned. No, I had just had our third child. So he came down. I gave birth to her in June. I moved in with my dad July, or my uncle kicked me out in August. That's on the previous episode too. Y'all gotta go back and watch the episodes. My uncle, it was the bond when I went down there, but eventually he kicked me out. It's a whole story. And so by August, September, I moved into my own place. My narc sent me the money to move in, because you don't need first class security to move in a crib in Florida. It was just a $500 deposit and move in, and my rent was $1,000 a month. And it was 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it had a pool outside, a little grilling area, a little walkway where I could put the baby in the stroller and stroll her around. So she was like 3 months old, 4 months old when he came down. And so he was like feeding the baby. I was working overnight. So of course he came down. He don't have a job. He's just now getting down here. He would have to find somewhere to work. So initially coming down, I was working, and he held the house down. So I mean, I would get off work. I worked overnight shift, and he would put me to bed like a baby. I would come in, and it would be like, okay, what does she need? I'm pretty sure I was still breastfeeding, so I would feed her, and he would be like, okay, all right, go to bed. Good night. It's the morning time because I'm getting off 7 a.m. But he would be like, you need your rest now. I got to go back to work later on tonight. I got the kids. He was bathing them. It was bliss. It was amazing. And it was like, where has this person been all these years? Like, you've never been like this. But knowing that I didn't want him to come down, and I was already on some like get the hell away from me type shit, and so yeah, because your whole second life done got exposed, and it's like, oh my gosh, I really gotta butter her up. I gotta butter her up because I'm done with shorty. You give me a great source of supply. You done left your folks' crib, so you by yourself. We in a whole new area where we can start over, new slate, fresh slate. Forget all that. Forget her. Forget them. It's just us, baby. It's just us. And that's how he made me feel until he did, right? So because I'm trying to think. We got into a spat, and I don't remember what it was about, but I know that I got so mad that I threw his keys out the window. And he was mad that I threw his keys out the window and told me to go get them. Now, no, we was on the first floor. The apartment was on the first floor. So I told somebody, they was right there. He probably could have opened up the screen and reached and got him himself. But it was just the principle of me throwing his keys out. I think because he made friends down there. He had this one homie that used to call him a G-I-T. I think that's like youngin or young bull or homie. I don't know, but he started using that daggone word all the time. Jit. But anyway, I think he started like coming home late. He was doing something. Some of his old ways was peeking back through, right? Because at the end of the day, the whole Superman act was an act. It was a mask. It was a mask that he put on just to appease me, to butter me back up and get me back in his good graces so that he can, get his supply and live, how he wanted to live with me. So he started to piss me off. Yup, threw the keys out. I wouldn't go get him. So he ended up gripping me up. Y'all, he gripped me up and ripped my shirt off my body. So this was his way of, because he didn't really put his hands on me. This was his way of not, I guess, punching me in the face, which is what I'm sure he probably would have preferred to do. But instead, it was like, just let me do something to get this anger out and show you that I'm not playing. Now go get my damn keys from outside and stop playing with me. So I guess, it was ruckus, it was chaos. We must have been yelling and cussing and fussing because somebody called the cops. Cops come knocking on the door. Now, no, how old am I? Like 26? So I wasn't really aware that, you don't have to let the cops in the house just because they come and knock on the door and ask questions or whatever the case. You don't have to open the door and let them in. Like, this is your, residence. And y'all, okay, y'all got a call. I can open the door and say, no, everything's fine. There's nothing going on here. But I opened the door and it was like, yeah, how you doing? We got a call, about some, I forgot how they said it, what they said, but it was pretty much, like a disturbance or maybe some domestic violence or whatever the case. We just wanted to check on you. Now, no, they can see my damn shirt is ripped. And I'm not even thinking about the shirt being ripped. I'm just trying to not make a situation worse, because it's like, I don't want him to go. I never wanted them to go to jail. But, they were like, oh no, can we come in? And I just kind of pulled back the door and they came in. And I just was like, well, we just got into a little fight or whatever the case, and gave them a brief little summary. And they were like, okay, do you feel safe? Do you want us to take him? Or they asked me and I was like, no. And I don't know what he said. I think he said something to provoke them, because they were like, okay, turn around, hands behind your back. And they cuffed him and took him to jail. They cuffed him and took him to jail, y'all. So now he has nobody down there. So who the heck is going to bail him out but me? So now I got to go down here to the bailiff and give them money and sign all these papers. And then I said I didn't want to press charges and all of this and that. I got him out of jail. It probably took a couple days. I think he sat in there a couple days. And he came out and it was like, okay, you got to show up for court. He never showed up for court because now I was at a place where I was ready to move. I was like, the rent was $1,000 a month. I was making $23 an hour because I was a nurse. I was a pediatric nurse by then. And I came out of school in 2009. I got licensed in 2009, started working 2010. And I was making $23 hour straight off the rip. Moving to Florida, I was getting paid $15 an hour. So it was barely scratching the surface. Like, once I paid the $1,000 and put groceries in the house, it was like, we ain't got nothing too much and nothing left over. I know I have rented all of our furniture, from the beds to the TVs to the couches. Like, everything was rented. Like, no, I'm just now coming down here. I don't have the money, so what are my options? So now, this is the end of the year. He had came down. All of this transpired. It probably transpired the beginning of the next year. I ended up pregnant with my 4th child in January. By January, I was knocked up again. Probably the end of January or something like that. So I found out I was pregnant. And it was like, oh snap. If we having baby number 4, where's this baby supposed to go? You know what I'm saying? We already have 3. I had my son in the bedroom number 2, and my daughter slept on the bottom bunk. He was on the top, she was on the bottom bunk, and then me, my narc, and the baby was in the other room. She was in the pack and play was next to the bed. So it's like we have a 4th child. Like I don't have the like. What are we gonna do now? Note this income tax is coming up, so now I'm like, all right, income tax should set us up, right? I go to file for income tax, and I was getting back over $8,000. Now, when was this? This is 2012. I graduated in 2009. So 6 months after you graduate, you have to start paying back the money for the schooling, for the licensed practical nursing school that I went to. And I wasn't making those payments. So I don't know if you go into deferment or I needed to go into deferment, but I had went into it. But apparently you have to be making the payments for, I think, 9 or 10 months in order for them not to take your income tax check as, like, oh, we gonna need that. We run that. Because they had taken my income tax the previous year in 2011. And I said, what in the hell? Messed my whole life up. You hear me? I mean, I was like, no way. So I got on the plan and I was paying, but apparently it wasn't a full 9 or 10 months. So unfortunately, they ended up snatching that check too. Once they took that money, it was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to carry us. Now, during the income tax season, he was he was working for an income tax facility. It wasn't, H&R Block, but it was something like that. And they would have him go out and put the signs in people's grass, or put, flyers in their window, in their windshields, or whatever the case, like, hey, come file your taxes over here. So he was getting a couple dollars from that, but it wasn't nothing to like really pay no bills. It was, just to keep him afloat. He still smoked weed, so it was like, I gotta take care of that habit. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what it did. That's what that money did. So we couldn't afford it. So it was like, okay, executive decision. We have to move back to Philly. It is what it is. So I saved up all my coins. I paid for our vehicle to get airlifted, or I don't know if they put it on to the back of a haul. I don't know how it was, but I paid for it to get sent to Philly, and I packed everything in it. I packed all of our belongings in it. We just took a carry-on bag to get on the flight back to Philly, and we went back. It was like, okay, it's a wrap for this. I gave all the furniture back. My bills were paid up so well that I ended up getting checks back from like the utility companies and everything like that. It was like, hun, you paid up, we owe you this. Take that back. So went back to Philly, and this man went right back to his ways. Right back to his ways. It was like, oh, I'm back in my playground. It's time to play. Yeah, like in my Chucky voice. Cause what? All of that, whatever he was doing, Superman stuff, went clean out the window. So initially when I got back, I moved back into my grandma's house. That's where I was at. Before I went to Florida, that was like the midpoint. He had pissed me off, got a new phone, was dealing with other chicks. I said, screw that. I'm going to Florida with my folks. But I left that house that we were living at. Was our first Winfield crib. And I ended up going back to my grandma's, and I was there for a couple months, saved up, moved to Florida. So when I had to come back from Florida, I went back to my grandma's house. So now I'm going to look for an apartment somewhere to move into. It's short-lived. It's always going to be short-lived, Grandma. I'm not going to be here long, but thank God you have this house and an extra room or two to be able to allow your grandkids to come back, and get on their feet. So that was a blessing. So while I was staying at my grandma's house, he was just here, there, and everywhere. You know what I mean? Stay at his homie crib, stay at, whoever crib he was staying at. So he just kind of fell right back into his ways. So eventually I had got us into our second Winfield apartment, and we moved on over there. And once we got over there, he really just didn't care anymore. That's when, because the thing with these narcissists, right? They put on these masks, and they could only keep the mask on but for so long before their true self, just pops right out at you. Like They can't keep the facade going forever. That's why I know my next relationship, baby, at least a year. We're gonna have to date for at least a year because you can't hold it for a year. You cannot hold a mask. Your representative cannot sit in that spot and not get antsy and start to feel like, oh my God, I can't take it no more before the real you pop out. It's no way. So yeah, we need 12 months to see who you really are, to really get to know each other, or me really get to know you, because that's my problem, being an open book. When you're an open book like that and you tell somebody you just meeting everything there is to know about you, it's like giving them permission to, or giving them ammunition to pow, 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 when the mask fall off. Once the mask fall off, you done gave them all the ammo they need to shoot you down and make the value degrade, belittle, disrespect. You done gave me all the goods. You done gave me all the goods. You know what I'm saying? So now I own you. Now I run you. Or you gonna run for the hills. If you're smart enough, if you know enough, like literally intelligent enough and have enough knowledge to know, oh heck no, I ain't done with this, you got me messed up, then you gonna head out. But 9 times out of 10, after all that love bombing and showing you, you know, what you wanted to see, and then mirroring whatever it is you want from a mate, and they gave you all of that, and then the mask come off, and they use your own information that you gave them against you, it leaves you in this like stuck, like what the, like what's happening? Like you literally don't know what to do. Because now your heart is involved and you feel like you love them and you've invested in them. And you don't want to leave, or you don't want to be too hasty and leave something that could be great, or oh maybe he just having a bad day, or well something bad or tragic happened in his life, so you know it's just he just got to get over this hump, and you start to make excuses for the behavior when it's like, no, the mask is off and this is who he really is and this is what you about to get. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, when we got back to Philly, the mask was off. He was back in the groove of, you know, being a street runner. You know what I mean? Making his bread on the streets. And in that world, you know, flocks the women who will give it up easily, freely, and willingly. Don't care if you married. Don't care if you got a relationship, big mom, what you got going on. They don't care. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we were. And we in this apartment, and now, you know, he's Muslim. He's getting back on his deen. He's back praying and garbing up and going to the masjid. So I was like, oh, okay. But it wasn't, it's like it wasn't in my favor. You would think, okay, he's getting closer to God. He's buckling down and being more, you know, righteous, if you will. So this is going to get good, right? This is going to, everything should be okay. Nah. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where, you know, I was just like, why am I being faithful? Like, why am I allowing myself to be such a good girl and the one that's, you know, just being faithful and good in this relationship when this man is doing whatever he want, however he want? So I told him I was going to go cheat on him. I said, yeah, you know what? I'm sick of this. And you clearly don't care about me. So, because he started sleeping with his other baby mom, the one who hit me up in Florida with the truck and said, I got a baby by, I'm pregnant right now. Of course, he's back up here now. So she on his head. Oh, you back in Philly? Get over here. At the end of the day, the sex is amazing. She missed some. I got 2 of your kids. That dick is partially mine. Come give me some now, or whenever I want it. Yeah. So he did. And she was a squirter and I wasn't at the time. So it was like, okay, he was enamored by that. You know? Big jaw, too. Big jaw. A complete opposite of my body type. So it was something different. She already got 2 of my kids. She being my baby mom. He probably felt like he had permission. You know, like I can go back to her. What's the big deal? But with us females, we get caught up in our emotions. Because if he starts ignoring her, not coming around like she want, or whatever the case, then she would turn it on me. and want to come fuck with me. Because it's like, okay, I know how to get your attention. Let me go fuck with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Let me go bother her. So she called the cops and had the cops come to my crib. The cops knock on my door and I'm like, officer, what's going on? No, I'm in the back rolling up an L trying to smoke out the back on the little back porch situation. And I get a knock at the front door. So I put the L out, put it on, you know what I mean? I go to the front door and I'm like, how can I help you? And he's like, oh yeah, we have a report that there's a gun at this residence. Say what? Who told you that? Officer, there is no gun here. I don't like guns. I was low-key scared of guns. I'm never touching a gun. I don't have no gun. Who told you that? Like, I just kept asking, like, where'd you get this information? Oh, we got a call. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to check the premises. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, you could call the cops and say, there's a report of a gun somewhere, and the cops just got permission to come in your crib. So no, I was out back smoking. The door was unlocked. How about one of the officers came in through the back? So while I'm at the front with the officer, this motherfucker's coming through my house and coming straight through my crib. I'm like, what the heck? What is going on here? Are you serious? Officer, there's no gun here. But you know what? Since y'all want it, I'll prove it. Come on in. Come look. Go look over here. Look under there. There's no gun here. I've never had a gun in my life. When the cops, the baby mom ends up like slow driving behind my house. She, in the back. And, oh, yes. So that's what happened first. She had already called them, knew that they was coming, and drove by and was like, oh, hey, Shakira, the cops at your door. Or the cops is looking through your car. Like I go look around and I see them with their flashlights looking inside my vehicle. I had that for an expedition at the time. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? That's what made me put the L out. That's what made me go to the front door. And then that's when I got the knock. And then now the officer's coming through the back. Now you in the front. So I was like, oh, that's my partner. Oh yeah. That's your partner, but I didn't give you permission to come in here. How are you just coming in through my crib? Like, what's happening right now? When the whole deal was ordeal was over, I go to call him up like, hey, yo, so your bitch called the cops on me? And said it was a gun in here? And so this is the type of women you dealing with? This is the type of drama you're going to bring to me? To our crib? Are you kidding me? Like, yo, what? Is she serious, man? Don't pay that no mind. Like, he takes his time getting to the crib. By the time he comes to the crib, he comes in and says, well, you know what? I know you ain't about this life. So, you know, if you want to go back to your grandmom's, that's cool. So now you getting rid of me? So now you let your baby mom come around here, disrespect our crib, and then you're going to come and tell me I'm not about this life. And if I want to leave the crib that I got us into, paid first class and security to get in, have been paying the bills for, you gonna kick me and tell me to go back to my grandma's crib? Are you mad? Are you crazy? Okay, say less. I'm over this. We're done. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to cheat on you, my nigga. I'm going to go ahead and do what I want. He said, no, you ain't cheating. Do you? No, you're not cheating. Go ahead, do you. Wow, do me? For real? Say less. So now I know you really don't care. So what is the purpose of us living together? What is the purpose of us being here together? There's no need. So yes, I'm going to go ahead and head out. Started stacking my bread. Stacked my bread up. Moved out of there September 2014 into to a 3-bedroom house. Deuces. Every time I departed from this narc, I would level up. Every time I leveled up. Like, you ain't saying nothing but a word, my guy. I don't need you. I never needed you. You love bombed me. You got me when I was 14, took my virginity, and had me so messed up in the head that I keep allowing you back in my space. But let's be clear. I don't need you. Goodbye. So I left. I went on ahead and I went and got. I right on up out of there. That's what I did. Okay? Didn't even see it coming. Paid the first class in security, packed up my stuff, and was gone. You got me all the way messed up. And that's when the chick that I was talking about in my last episode, who gripped him up and grabbed him by the neck and was sprayed the cologne all over his car and all of the nonsense, he started messing with her in that during that time. Now you feel like you can go do you and go get you girls with big old giant butts because that's all you want. Shakira get little. I have our bed one of our kids, and then I lose all the weight, and I'm not thicker than a Snicker no more because I'm breastfeeding and they sucking me dry. Now you want to head on over to somebody that's more voluptuous, if you will. And the marriage and our love for me and all of that just goes clean out the window because your penis says, I want her, and you don't really matter right now, so I'm out. So I went and moved to that crib in Southwest. And then when they broke up, then it was like, can I use your crib as a storage spot? And then that's when he worked his way back in. So, yeah, that's 2014. 2015, that's when shit hit the fan with Shorty wanting to get her revenge back. So that is where I'm going to end this episode. We will pick it back up when Shorty got her revenge because she was mad that he discarded her, because that's what he does with women. He get what he wants out of you, and if you get on his nerves or start acting in a way that he don't like, he's going to discard you like trash. And that's the MO. So I just want to thank you all for joining me today. Remember, you are guided, you are protected, you are safe, and I will see you next time.